So, people, this is a brand new podcast, Talking with Dipshit. I'm Antonio G,
I'm Julio G.
and this pretty much is going to be a conversation that me and my brother have. First, we'll indulge in some of California's finest, and then we'll get into topics. Um, maybe one topic, two, three topics. This is pretty much something that me and Julio like to do. We like to talk about what's going on. Obviously, we have different perspectives. And it's great for both of us to just have you know each other to bounce ideas off of one another. So this is pretty much just gonna be us having a conversation and having different views on things. Our personalities, I think, will shine through our speech. Um, we both have varying opinions on different matters, and we hope you enjoy our podcast. Now, the dipshit thing, it's not really a derogatory term that we use with each other. It's just, I mean, we grew up in
It's
the
just for
90s.
fun.
Exactly. I mean, we grew up in the 90s. You're going to hear some words, we might say, we might drop the F bomb here and there. Just go out and say it. He might call me a fag. I might call him a fag.
Again, guys, remember we grew up in an era where we grew up thick-skinned. We grew up calling each other faggot. We grew up beating the shit out of each other. So, we're gonna use some vulgar language. We're gonna be real. We're gonna be us, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just an opinion-based podcast. We're just trying to have a good conversation like brothers, and then just talk about our lives, talk about situations, talk about, like you said, current events, um, sports, just anything that comes up with after we have a little something, get our brains right. Um, but again, we grew up in an era where we pretty much didn't hold anything back. We didn't bite our tongues and talk shit. That's what we did. That's who we are. That's what we're gonna be about here at this podcast. We hope you enjoy it. And again, it's just opinion based. Anything that you don't like, don't be afraid to have an opinion against it. Don't be afraid to disagree with us and put it on the comments. Then let's have a conversation. Let's have a debate. Fuck it. Let's debate on something. Let's have some fun. But yeah. And then,
Yeah, like you said, we grew up playing games like, Smear the Queer, King of the Hill, Baby Bridges, which was a fun game. If
okay, beat the shit out of each other.
just that's all we did, just hitting each other, fighting with other kids in our neighborhood. We grew up just spending most of our time on the outside, having fun, riding bikes, making jumps, playing hockey, soccer, basketball. You name it, we did it.
And here's sorry to cut you off, but here's another important part that we haven't mentioned. So every time that we did get in fights or we're fighting or whatever it wasn't like we fucked each other up and it was like, oh, that's it. I fucking hate you for life. Like, man, people nowadays fucking say they have the fucking whack shoes and all of a sudden they hate each other for the rest of their fucking lives and shit. We fucking beat the shit out of each other and shake hands or play football right after. Shit, we'd fucking fuck around like that. Like you said, we would play fucking fighting for fun. Just different eras.
Yeah, I mean, we grew up. Nowadays kids. I mean, let's be real. I don't have any kids. He doesn't either. We have nieces and nephews, but
30 years old. 30 and no, baby.
but yeah, exactly. But it's just like kids nowadays. I feel like are just too soft. Like they want to go ahead and say that they have trigger words when you know and they're barely 12. You can't have a trigger word when you're 12. Like you haven't lived anything. You haven't experienced anything. You've been sheltered for those 12 years. You haven't, wait till you get a real taste of the real world. Like, I mean, your high school teacher will tell you, once you leave high school, things change. And it's true. Like, once you get out of those 12 years of school where you bitch and complain and you just wanted to get out and you couldn't wait to leave, it's real out there. It's tough. And like I said, we grew up differently, and we might say some words, we might say some things that you might not agree with, that might offend you. But hey, that's just who we are. We're not saying these words to offend anybody. These are just words that we grew up saying. Like I said, we called each other fag, queer, pussy, all kinds of names we called each other. Dipshit, which was, like I said, all these names that we called each other wasn't to be like, fucking to demean each other. It was just, we just like talking smack to each other. That's just how we grew up. Our friends are the same way. We just go around and we
Talk
clown on
shit.
each other. You know, it's just how it is. And I mean, obviously we have boundaries. You know, we don't. I mean, we can say mama jokes, but
Yeah, we don't
there's a
touch
limit. There's a limit to those. You know,
we
like
don't go there.
leave my mother out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like she didn't do nothing to you. She has nothing to do about this. It's just between me and you. You say whatever you want about me, but you know, leave my mother out of it. That's just my only rule about that. But other than that, let's get into it. So this is talking with dipshit. So dipshit, let's
Episode 1.
talk about this Iran deal, this Iran thing. I think for the first time since I want to say, and I know I'm not the first one to say it, but since 9/11, people actually feel like scared. People actually feel like shit, something's gonna happen. And one thing I do want to say is like we're not gonna be derogatory towards the president. I mean, everybody knows what he is. We don't need to say it. We're gonna just talk about what's going on.
Yeah.
We don't need to insult anybody on this show. That's not what we're about. Um, we're gonna try to not call him names. Like I said, he is the president, and we gotta respect that. First and foremost, he is the leader of our country, and I heard I think it was I want to say Dave Chappelle on SNL, or it might have been even Joe Rogan when they said, "If he fails, we all fail." Now, not to say that I voted for him because I didn't. I'll be straight up right now. I voted for Hillary Clinton. I didn't vote for Donald Trump, but he is our president. At the end of the day, this is something that he got us into. Um, Hillary Clinton even said, "Why would you give the nuclear codes to somebody that can be goaded with a tweet?" And this is where we're at right now. I mean, he got goaded into this. I mean, there's many different. They said he was tweeting him some memes from Game of Thrones before he got murdered with this missile. Now we're not gonna defend that guy because I mean he was obviously planning and doing things that weren't into the best interest of the United States. But I think there's got to be a way to go about it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you can't just. I mean, I guess you can because it already got done. It was already done, right? But I feel like it's just pretty much like swinging who's to see whose dick is bigger, pretty much. You know, Iran said something about Trump, right? Like pretty much said that he wouldn't do nothing, right? Pretty much kind of like insulting him. What was that before or after?
I think it was before.
Yeah. So then pretty much it almost seemed like that's what triggered Trump to be like, okay, well, you know what? Then you know what I'm saying? Like it almost swings like it was just like a swing of a bigger dick. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it felt like to me. Now, like as far as like why people are scared and why they feel like 9/11 is because you get that feeling of like we're being pushed into something like nobody asked for, and that's just bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, why again? Why over whose dick is bigger, or why? Or is there a bigger like deal behind it?
I think people's fear is rational, but at the same time, I think I think it might be a little overreacted because we don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, the reality is like we don't know. Um, he could just be like, hey, he wanted to look tough so we can renegotiate the nuclear deal with Iran. That's something he could be doing. We got to remember this guy is a reality TV show host or producer, so he does a lot of things that sometimes make you think like, dude, is this guy producing a reality TV show? What's going on? Because he does things where, like the umbrella thing. I think that was kind of on purpose.
You think so?
I think so, because
Just
he does just to fuck with the media.
like the toilet paper thing.
Again, yeah, that too. Like he does little things like that where people overreact. Like, oh, look at this guy, look at that guy, and it's like
just to get more
to get more attention.
And shit.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. He's just trolling people. He's just and.
But for real, like so you're talking about like a 73, 74-year-old man.
Yeah, he's
trolling people.
I mean.
I mean, I get it, yeah. And the thing is that he is a fucking master troller, but like, really, the fucking umbrella thing and the toilet paper thing on purpose?
You don't think so? I mean,
it's not hard. It's not hard to believe. It's easy to believe, but fuck, man, that's crazy to say like our president. put toilet paper on his shoe on purpose just to fucking get views, just to get likes, just to get LOLs.
I don't think it's to get LOLs. I think it's more just to distract. Yeah, so he's 73. 73 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. I mean, when I first got on the internet, I trolled. I mean, we used to get on the poker game and just with Tovar and just talk smack. I mean, we used to do that. Like, we used to get on poker games and just talk smack to people to get them off their game. Now, is that what he does? Yeah, obviously, I think so. I mean, he's distracted from different things. Like, now, is this distracting from something else? Is this distracting from impeachment? That's the question.
But that's what's crazy about this administration is that so much crazy shit happens that, like, the impeachment thing happened 3 weeks ago. It just seems like, you know what I'm saying? It feels like it was an eternity ago. And it was just 3 weeks ago. Like, 3 weeks.
Yeah, well, so much comes at us that it's kind of hard to.
And now we're talking about war.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's kind of hard not to say that he's distracting. So that's what I'm saying. Like, see, he does things like that, like just to distract. Because what's he doing? Who knows? Now, there's also another thing that they say is, in time of chaos is when you can steal. Obviously, the Bush administration, we know there was like trillions of dollars, I think, mishandled in the ramping up of the Afghanistan war and
it was $3 trillion,
something like that, right? It was a lot of money. It was like
there's an interview, I forgot what the guy's name is, where they ask him about it, and he just kind of like
Donald Rumsfeld.
That guy, he just asked a question like a boss.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, and that was right before 9/11.
Yep.
If you remember, like they're interviewing him.
The day before, something like that.
Yeah, like a couple of days before, they're interviewing him about all this money that's missing.
Yeah,
and then 9/11 happens, and then like
it's a whole other subject.
But see, then the timeline.
But it is kind of relevant though.
But the timeline's off then. So the money that there was missing prior to that was from something else. Then it wasn't from the Iraq War or the Afghanistan War, because that's what led us up to the war. The whole point is they stole a lot of money. A lot of money was stolen during this time. Like
a lot of people got paid.
A lot of people got paid.
But the thing is that like, so here's the thing, and I get it, and that makes sense. And I would totally agree with you if this was any other president. We're talking about Trump. So let's give him some type of, I guess you can say, credit in that type of way. So like he's stealing right in front of our faces, and we're like, okay. Like, we look at the campaign money. Was it like over $100 million?
Oh, the inauguration.
No, my bad. The inauguration. Yeah. My bad. Sorry, guys. The inauguration. So the inauguration, look it up. How much? The 100 million something, right? And it only took like 20 some million. And didn't they give like 26 million to one of her Ivana's one of his wives? Melania, there you go. Whatever the fuck her name is. Sorry, guys. Kind of stoned. But anyways, they give like 26 million or something like that to one of her friends. She was like a caterer or some bullshit. But yeah, so that's what I'm saying, like stuff like that. So where's that money at? They never accounted for it.
107 million.
Yeah, there you go. 107 million. And they used. And how much of it did they use?
They say that's how much they spent. They say they spent 107 million.
They're full of shit. But wasn't there reports on. Anyways, okay. So the whole point is that there's all the freaking rallies that he's doing. Like, where do you think all that? They're spending money on that bullshit. You know they are.
Well. I don't think they're spending that much money.
Like, but think about it. He's been so you got to remember that he's been campaigning for 2020 since 2016 since he got elected.
2020, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, remember, guys, he never he never stopped campaigning. He's always been doing rallies. So he's been campaigning the whole time. He's been making money the whole time. So that's what I'm saying. So I get what you're saying as far as like when there's war, there's opportunity to steal, right, guys? But my whole thing is, if he's already stealing in front of our faces, shit, the hotel, he was about to have the freaking 2020 summit in Mar-a-Lago. He was about to get millions of dollars because why? Because it was convenient, because it was close to the airports or some bullshit like that.
Yeah, that's what he said.
So again, he's stealing right in front of our faces. So why does it need a war? Here's my thing. It just kind of came to my head. Check this out, guys. So talking about people feeling like 9/11, right? So part of that felt because it was Cheney having Bush kind of like, I don't want to say puppet because that's not the right word to say, but like you said, we don't want to be saying shit like that. So I'm gonna say he was in charge, in control, right? He was pretty much calling the shots, and he wanted to go to war because of oil. Let's be real, right? Money.
Yeah.
So,
well,
I feel the reason why it feels this way is not necessarily because Mike Pence is in charge, but because it feels like Putin is the one that's calling the shots. You know what I'm saying? That's why I feel like people are scared because, let's be real, there's a lot of evidence that shows that there's some type of connection there. It hasn't been fully put out there, guys. I'm not saying that it has, but there's some type of proof, and we all know that there is.
Well, I mean, the whole Putin thing is.
How many people have been in jail?
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi said it. Like all roads lead to Putin. Like everything that Trump does seems like is in benefit to Russia. Now, the whole Dick Cheney thing. Was he in charge or was Bush in charge? I mean, just remember that Dick Cheney was, I believe, the CEO, or he was like he was high up in I think it was Raytheon, one of the defense contractors. So this guy was making money just by going to war. You know, they build missiles and I believe obviously components for for jets or whatever else they do. They have a military contract, so they get, I mean, massive amounts of money. I'm not exactly sure how much money, but he was involved with one of those companies, and obviously it was in his best interest to go to war.
Yeah, of course.
Now, the Dave Chappelle skit when when the black president, when he's like,
shout out
oil,
to Dave Chappelle.
Oil, bitch, you cooking? Like, it's hilarious. Like,
speaking of Dave Chappelle, sorry to cut you off. Did you see him receive that Mark Twain award thing?
I did not.
Oh, guys, if you guys have a chance, go on YouTube. It's fucking amazing. You gotta watch that shit. So there's a bunch of like skits of different comedians like Sarah Silverman, Jon Stewart is on there. The best one though I think is what the hell's his name? His buddy, his co-writer. Neil. Oh my god, he's freaking hilarious, guys. If you guys
Neil Brennan.
Neil Brennan. Oh man,
yeah,
guys, if you guys haven't
funny.
seen it, check it out on YouTube.
Funny.
It's on there. The Chappelle acceptance of the Mark Twain Award.
I've seen it all over YouTube.
It's fucking hilarious. Oh my god, that fool gets down. So that was the funniest one I think out of everybody, and I think he got like more time than anybody else from just like the videos on YouTube.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, him and Dave Chappelle co-wrote most of the skits.
Yeah,
on the Chappelle show.
And then Chappelle got down too. That fool was fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
he got like 8 minutes.
Yeah, Chappelle's the man.
But anyway, sorry to cut you off. It's fucking funny.
Yeah, so let's get back onto this Iran thing. The reality is, guys, that we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know what they're gonna do with retaliation. One thing I think it's not gonna happen is I don't think we're gonna put boots on the ground there. For one,
hopefully not.
He would need authority from Congress. I mean, he cannot use the power that he got that they gave to Bush. Those powers that they granted him, because I mean they were broad, but they weren't too broad to the point where he can invade a whole new country. If it does play out with boots on the ground, I believe it'll be in Iraq. It'll be us putting boots on the ground there.
Here's a side note though, since we're talking about boots on the ground. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. So there was a letter sent to the Iranian government.
Well, the Iraqi government.
Iraqi government about troops, 5,000 troops, pretty much all the troops, right, getting pulled out of Iraq. And it was an accident. It was like a freaking rough draft or some bullshit. So again, the stupid government fucks up. Sorry, guys. But it's true. They fucked up. And they're stupid for fucking up.
Yeah.
If that was a true fuck up. But in reality, I feel like they did that shit on purpose. But anyways, so they sent a rough draft. And the Iraqis now are like, okay, no, now we do want him out. So what do you think happens with that? And now here's the thing. So here's the thing though. Watch, check this out. So they've been surrounding Iran and Iraq a little bit more and more with troops, right? Sending troops out there.
Well, I believe the timeline was the parliament or whatever type of government they have in Iraq wanted to expel the troops, and then our government was like, sure, we're gonna pretty much wrote this letter that dipshit's talking about, and not only wrote it or typed it out, but also translated it into Arabic, or would it be Arabic? Right. Yeah. I'm assuming it's Arabic.
Whatever, I don't know what type.
You're wrong. Yeah.
We can always look it up. We have the fucking technology, guys. We'll make it happen. Anyway, so this is my point as far as that goes. So this is my thought. So what if he takes those fucking 5,000 troops and says, okay, we're gonna take them? Huh?
It says Persian.
Persian?
All right, it is.
Okay, so what if he takes those 5,000 troops and just says, fuck it, then now we're just gonna go invade Iraq?
Iran.
My bad. Iraq, take those 5,000 troops from Iraq and go to Iran.
Well,
and if you think about it, like,
I mean, he could.
Like, I see what you mean as far as like, yeah, like he has to go to Congress and all that bullshit. But again, we're talking about Trump. Trump does not give a fuck. Trump will fucking just pull the trigger like a motherfucker and he doesn't care. Look at the shit that he was. Guys, remember he was about to bomb Iran. He said that freaking jet, that missile jet, whatever that shit, and then he called it off last second. Within the last 10 minutes.
But I don't think he actually did that. I think that was just
like a training exercise.
Nah, I think it was just him saying, like, again, he does things to distract. Like, I don't believe.
Getting caught now.
I can't say. You know what? We don't know. The reality is, we don't know. I mean,
I'm just thinking of the crazy shit that we can fucking possibly think of.
I mean,
because look at what the fucking giving them the options before the strike, as far as the strike goes. They give them some fucking soft scenarios, and the craziest fucking one just. How could you not see that shit?
But is that even true? Like,
that's
see, true, like, cause there's a lot of, we don't really know. Like, we don't know what actually happened behind the scenes. I mean, when I first heard about this, I believe I was on YouTube, and I want to say the AP or it might have been the BBC. One of them broke it first. Said that a commander of an Iraqi militia was attacked by a drone strike. That's what I first heard. And then somebody else started reporting that it was Soleimani that got targeted. But he wasn't mentioned until, I believe, the Iraqi government and Iranian government both came out and said that Soleimani was attacked. So was this something that they planned? I don't know. Or was this something that, like, they set it up with them and gave them, like, kind of like in The Simpsons when they give them the 3 scenarios and they're like, pick which option do you want, and they pull C and he's like A and he's like, no, not A. How about B? He's like, no, not B. He's like, okay, A, and he's like, no, don't A, and he's like, just pick C. I mean, there's a lot of people around him that have been wanting to go to war with Iran. So why wouldn't they want to provoke him by taking out?
Is Bolton still?
No, he's not there no more. But there's other people there. That are war hawks that are. Let's not even call them war. Let's call them chicken hawks, because that's what they are. Like, these are people that want to send other people to die, because they themselves won't serve. Like, there's a lot of people on TV that you hear them like they say banging the drums of war. So these guys are not gonna. They're not gonna join the military. They're not gonna go and fight over there. Like, you gotta remember, none of Trump's kids are gonna enlist. None of them. Let's be real. None of the people that are in power. None of Pelosi's family. None of Chuck Schumer's. None of Mike Pence's. None of Mitch McConnell's. None of their family. Those people that are in power. None of their family is gonna go to war. It's gonna be our families. It's gonna be our cousins, our brothers, our sisters, our families, our friends, our neighbors. Those are the people that are gonna be going over there and giving up their lives. Now these chicken hawks that just go out and say, like, yeah, we need to go over there and fight them over there before they come over here. We're surrounded by water. There's so much space between us and any other like threatening country that it's like we can see it coming. We have the technology. I'm pretty sure that can see something coming from the the Middle East towards America or from Russia. Like maybe we won't be able to intercept it. Maybe we will. We don't know what technology we have. We don't know what capabilities we have.
I think we do. There's no way we don't.
But one thing we do know is they're not gonna come over here and invade us. That's not gonna happen.
No, fuck no. Never.
Let's be real.
Nobody would.
Like that's just
Well,
not
I mean,
gonna
not
happen.
that nobody would, but I think.
And not only that, like
to do it.
it's like a lot of like I've been bringing this up a lot too. It's like we're in a revolution of technology. Like like World War One. Dan Carlin, Hardcore History. You gotta listen to that podcast. It's a very dope podcast. I mean, just the history of what humans have done to each other from the past millennia. I don't know exactly how long, but World War One, he was talking about how the French would go out to these battlefields and their attires with bright colors, and the Germans showed up in these dull gray colors with machine guns. And these guys had bayonets and rifles, and it's like they had no chance with these Germans just mowing them down. Like the lives that were lost just because they didn't know. Like they didn't know that the capabilities the Germans had and the technology that just was like inconceivable. Like shit, when I was in middle school, the phone was in your house. And yeah, there's some people that had phones, but they were like Chuck Norris, Chuck Norris, Zach Morris, and Chuck Norris had a cell phone too in Delta 4. That was a satellite phone. Zach Morris, who had Saved by the Bell, who had that big ass brick phone and shit, he would call and
pull it out of his fucking jacket and
order pizzas for Beldy and shit, and do all kinds of crazy shit. And those were the cell phones that were out. And then shit, I hit high school, and next thing you know, the Nokia phone with the Snake game came out. Mm-hmm. And then when I got to high school, shit, there was already the Palm Trio, I think, was already one of the. No, it wasn't. It wasn't out yet. A couple years after high school was when the Palm Trio came out, and then next thing you know, the smartphone. Next thing you know, it's like
Blackberries.
You have everything on your phone now.
Sidekicks.
It's insane.
Crazy shit.
So I think that's pretty much what we're gonna do with Iran. Like I said, if you hear anybody telling you, "Oh, this is gonna happen," that's gonna happen, the reality is we don't know. We don't know what's gonna happen. Technology nowadays has it that, like they took out Soleimani, they used a drone. There was no human people on. There was no people on the ground. It was just a drone that flew over and dropped the bomb from, I believe they call it a Hellfire missile, from the sky, and just ran it down on them, and that's it.
Do you think that okay, so let's say worst case scenario, he wants to go to war and Congress says fuck it, let's go to war. So obviously the most logical thing to do is to send a bunch of fucking drones and bomb the shit out of them, right? But let's say we take them all out, wouldn't that be considered genocide?
Yeah, well,
isn't that kind of like illegal and shit?
Well, see,
but would that be considered a war crime?
Yeah, all those things you said. Obviously, you can't go after the cultural sites. You can't attack civilians.
But doesn't that saying go, all is fair in war and love?
Again, that's a saying, and there's also Geneva Convention wherein they decided this treaty that this war pact that if you ever did go to war with another country, excuse me, there were certain things you gotta follow. Like for example, you can't just rape and pillage everything like they used to, like the Vikings and shit. Like it's not like that anymore. Now, if you're gonna go to war with another country, you're going to war with its government and its military. You're not going to war with its civilians. Civilians have to be off at you can't touch them.
So you think in Iraq and Afghanistan everything was legally done?
No, obviously there's casualties and there's ways to just fucking get away with murder pretty much. But yeah, as long as you're not, like you said, committing genocide where you're wiping out a whole entire country. And that's another thing about Iran that's so complicated. It's it's. I mean, let's put it like this. It's like if there's Republicans and Democrats, and they're really fighting. They're really trying to get control of the country. It's pretty much what it is in that area. The Sunnis and the Shiites. They're just fighting over control, and it's between Iran and Saudi Arabia that are having these proxy wars in all the regions, Iraq and Afghanistan, Yemen, where they're just having these proxy wars where they're just using militias to fight each other. And I mean, I think if we do go to war, it's going to be something like that, where it's going to be a proxy war between the United States and Iran, um, and Iraq. So I don't really think there's gonna. I mean, worst case scenario would be that they somehow were able to hit us here at home. That's worst case scenario. And obviously, if something like that happens,
I mean, I
game
think.
changes.
Well, but do you think? Okay, so like, let's say, um, so they already sent like what I said earlier was like warning missiles, of some of our sites, right?
Well, I mean, there were attacks in Iraq.
Oh,
That's
okay,
what it was.
attacks, whatever. But they pretty much didn't want to. They didn't want to cause too much harm. They just wanted to pretty much be like, "Yo, like we got your back," right? Because they pretty much said that would pretty much be it as long as the U.S. didn't
I
respond.
think it was more just like a like. I mean, who knows what? Like again, we don't know. We don't know. Like I don't know. Like all I can think of is just like they're gonna maybe do another attack on some other sites, in that region.
Wait, this is what I was trying to get at. So would they? The most obvious is the place to attack is Washington, right? Because that's where the president's at, and that's pretty much who they would probably want to go after first. So they said it. There's that one video where he says that that one guy he's like giving a speech in front of a bunch of people, and he's talking about he's like an Iranian leader or something. I forget what his name is. But anyways, he's talking about that he doesn't hate the American people. He hates the American leadership. And when they say death to America, they're talking about death to leadership, which is Trump, Pence, and I think Mike Pompeo, he said. Um, but so that would be the most obvious place, right? And then from there, like let's say Los Angeles, New York. Um, Now, with that being said, do they really have that type of capability? Do you think they really have that type of capability to get missiles all the way to those type of sites?
Um, no, I don't think they have the.
Like the long range missiles? Or
No, I
whatever?
don't think they have the long range missiles to do that. By that I meant like when I was saying like to hit us here, it'd be like another 9/11 type of attack. That's what I meant.
Or were they like.
Where they hit us here somehow.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not saying how. I don't fucking no. I'm not gonna. Just saying like that. That's the worst case scenario. Was that like another 9/11 type of attack done by the Iranians?
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to get my deal and shit. Like they can fucking. And then again, like that's another thing I've been saying. Like, why the fuck would they wanna come and hit us here like that and get a aggressive response when they can just do what fucking Russia's been doing and just fucking sow discourse between us and on Facebook, which I think people should fucking get off of Facebook. Fuck Facebook. Like that's just a fucking. It was supposed to bring people together, and it hasn't. On the contrary, it's put families apart.
True. Let me ask you this about that. As far as like the warfare or whatever, the isn't Iran aren't the Iranians known for like hacking and shit like that? Like aren't they known for being good at like computers? Like from what I'm not 100% sure. I could have sworn I heard something about that on Rachel Maddow. That they're look it up. See, I believe they're like they're hackers. There you go. They have like a really good hacking program. I believe it's them.
It says they do have some.
Yeah, there you go. They're one of the best hackers in the world, if not the best. As a matter of fact, I think Russians go get sent there as kids to get trained, something along the lines that. But anyways, that's fucking scary. That means they can fucking hack into our shit and take over and be like, fuck that. They're gonna show you content that we don't want to fucking have you see. They can fucking take over our electric grid. They can take over like our banks. They can shut us down with just that. Take it down. If they can take over our satellites. That alone, we're done. They won.
Yeah, but we also have hacker capabilities. We have.
Yeah, but if they're the number one fucking hackers, do you think we have?
But how do you see? I think it's all.
Didn't Russia hack our fucking electrical grid?
They were hacking some electrical grids. Yeah, there were, but.
Hello.
But it's not that simple because you also got to remember like it's different companies that have different regions. Like for example, we have Southern California Edison here, but up north they have Pacific Power Electric or something like that. So it's different companies. It's kind of like voting. Like they can't hack every voting system because every county, every region has their own voting system, their own vote. Like it's kind of hard to do. I'm not saying they can't do it. It's just it'd be kind of hard to do. Like I said, if anything, they would just do what they be doing on Facebook and just fucking have people hate each other on there and just fucking, like I said, fuck. I think people should get off of Facebook. Fuck Facebook, especially because Mark Zuckerberg is talking about I'm not nobody's police. I'm not gonna fucking be taking down lies. Like you can go up on Facebook and just lie about somebody and pay for it, and it's okay. And it's like nah, like that's the type of shit that's like.
You see all kind of fucking lies too.
Yeah, and like. I think the ability to just go on Facebook and talk all this shit, and then when it comes down to it, like you're just like gonna run your mouth and say all these crazy shit on there, and that's like for what? Like just to get people riled up. It's like that's why like I don't have Facebook. I don't have any social media. Like fuck that. Like I got better things to do than to be on Facebook or Snapchat or Instagram or any of that. And not to knock anybody that uses that, do this your life, do what you gotta do. I just personally think that Facebook is a place that has proven to just put people apart and not bring them together. When I really think that's, to be honest, that's just that's bullshit that they continue to fucking operate and continue to do this shit, and people don't wake up to this fucking how can I put it? They don't wake up to this fucking reality that the reason why you hate your brother, your sister, your neighbor, like friendships have been ruined just because it's fucking Facebook and shit. And it's like people back in the days didn't really talk about politics because you didn't have to. Like whether you were a Trump supporter or a Hillary Clinton supporter, you didn't know about that shit. You maybe talked about it once in a while when it came up, but for the most part, you really didn't bring it up or talked about it. And nowadays, because of Facebook, everybody has as they work on your page and call you a fucking idiot or whatever for voting for a certain person, and it's like, it's just.
Yeah, politics are fucked up. Politics is what I think. So Facebook is obviously involved, but I think it's more politics being put out there on Facebook that's tearing people apart. Because and I've experienced it myself, like on Facebook, where in the past I had posted some things and then people disagree with me and I'm just like I don't agree with them because they're super just wrong, saying really dumb shit, racist shit, and we disagree and the next thing you know we're no longer friends and it's cool. I ain't tripping, but we used to be super cool, super good friends before we even started talking about politics. As soon as it came up, boom, it's done. And I think, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think. Well, obviously, Facebook is the one that we're the platform where we're posting it on, but it's more so the politics as opposed to the Facebook. We could be posting on Twitter, and it would have been you know what I'm saying. If it would have been Twitter, then it would have been Twitter that's been the problem. If it would have been Instagram, that would have been Instagram that would have been the problem. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously, we post shit on Instagram that's politically motivated or whatever, and your family, your friends don't agree with it, you can have a debate on there too. People can post comments on that shit too.
Yeah, people talk shit on any platform.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, but Facebook just happens to be the most popular one for posting shit.
Yeah.
As far as social media goes.
Yeah. Well, let's change the subject. I read this dipshit. I've been seeing this conspiracy theory about Gucci Mane, about him being murdered in jail, and then and now it's a different Gucci Mane. And at first I was like, people just have no fucking, they have no other things to do other than just come up with some crazy shit. But the other day I heard an interview where he gave, I think it was Vlad Couch or something like that, before he went to jail, and he had this like nasal type of voice, like
yeah.
And now I heard an interview.
Yeah.
And now he has an interview with Charlemagne where that shit's gone. Like he sounds way different.
Mm-hmm. But he could always have gotten a nose job.
Yeah, but it's just as a nose job.
Because you do realize that, because so one thing that and the reason why I say this is because I used to be a boxer, and a lot of boxers suffer from this, and I myself, I don't have it as bad, so my fucking voice doesn't sound like that, but if you hear that, my breathing is very freaking restricted, and the more punches you take to the nose, the more restricted it is, the more messed up it gets and fucked up it gets in there. Like, if you listen to Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. talk, if you listen to him talk before he got his nose fixed to versus after, he used to talk super like kind of like stuffy nose, and he'd always be like, because it's really freaking hard to breathe. It always feels like you have a stuffy nose and shit, even though you don't. Like, you could blow the shit out, fucking pick your nose all you fucking want, but there's just something stuck in there, and it's just your fucking ass whooping that you took from the fucking
on the cartilage buildup and shit. That makes sense.
So for whatever fucking reason, it could have been fucking coke, or it could have been him fucking actually taking punches because he's a street guy, right? He's like, this real. He is a street guy. So that's easily explained as far as his nose. He could have gotten a nose job, and then he's speaking better now because he's able to fucking breathe.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
Boom. If I had a microphone, I'd drop that shit. That was a mic drop.
I don't know. Like, that's the thing.
Think about it. I just fucking solved the mystery.
No. I mean, what you're saying makes sense. Like, I understand what you're saying. Like, again, I just, like, this is something I saw, and I thought it was interesting.
About it. I agree. It is. It's crazy. But again, I'm just talking about in my view, because from my personal experience. Because again, I mean, I don't fucking plan on getting my fucking nose done. I'm cool with what it is, but it'd be nice to be able to fucking breathe through my nose. I have to breathe through my nose, through my mouth a lot, because like again, you can hear that shit. My nose is clear. I have no boogers, but my fucking nose is all jabbed up and shit, because it's usually from a jab. I didn't really get punched in the face too much. It was just a jab.
Yeah, well, yeah, like I said, what you're saying makes sense. I feel you.
And again, there's a lot. If you guys don't believe me, you guys can look it up. Any fighter. The Diaz brothers. They're a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Yeah. Their noses are fucking smashed.
Yeah.
And look how I don't know how they do their voice, but
yeah, they do have that nasal voice, you're right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If they were to get a nose job, fucking they'd be speaking different.
Yeah.
Maybe right. Still like the same type of dialect and shit like that, but not as like stuffy nosed.
Yeah. That makes sense. Makes sense what you
said. And here's another thing, like, just fucking came to my mind. Look up two pictures to just kind of like talk about your theory, since we're already talking about it. But if you look at his face, look at the nose, and it looks like he got a nose job done. For all you guys that are doubting this fucking theory and shit, I just solved it for y'all. You're welcome.
I mean,
you're welcome.
This is comparing them face to face. His face is
see, hell yeah. See, look, you can see. Look at the nose.
Yeah.
Now, as far as like,
look, fake Gucci.
This is the new one, right?
Yeah, obviously.
That picture looks fake as shit.
No, that's him.
That was fat right there.
Yeah, he was fat before he went to jail.
But I'm talking about like post a picture when he was like rapping and shit. Before, like, I can see that fat ass.
That's him right here. That's him right here before he went to jail too.
Bullshit.
That's Gucci.
Nah, look up when he fucking sang that song.
I see.
Don't you think I'm handsome? Something
Put Icy, because that was way before.
I don't know the fuck the
So
song was
Icy.
after that. It was like the song that made him fucking famous.
This was it. So Icy. That was the song that made him famous. See, it's because like it's such a conspiracy theory that everybody's just talking about that shit. And I don't even look up
the whole point is, I think like if you were to really look at it.
No, like you said, it makes, like I told you, it makes sense what you're saying about him, and it does seem like he got a nose job, so it makes sense that he no longer sounds the same. I just thought it was interesting. I thought it was funny that people think that. You got anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah. So I want to save this as a starting topic for the next one because we're getting close to almost an hour. But I want to get it started. So we're gonna start this one, guys. We're gonna get it started. But I want to. Okay, so we're gonna do the next one on Friday, right? Or when do you want to do it?
Yeah, we'll try to do one on Friday. Friday, if not Saturday, we'll try to do another one.
Okay, so whatever it is, but I want to get the topic started today.
Okay.
And then we'll finish it off on Saturday, and then if there's like some fights on some sports or something, we'll try to talk about, something like that.
I don't know if there's anything coming up this weekend. I think next week.
Oh, Jaime Munguia's fighting, but that's not really nothing big.
Jaime Munguia, I like the guy though. He's a good boxer. I don't know when the McGregor Cowboy fight is that this weekend.
Yeah, it is this weekend too.
Oh shit, that's a good fight.
We could
get into that on Saturday.
But
see, I don't know if we want to give predictions Saturday. We'll do it early, or we might do it afterwards. We might see the fights and then.
Probably let's go live. Let's do that. We'll talk about it before, and then we'll go live after. If we can.
You want to go live? Okay, we'll get into it. We'll get into it on Saturday. All right, for sure.
So, I want to talk about technology. We talked about it a little bit. We got into it a little bit.
All right, this sounds like a fucking It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia fucking episode and shit.
Yeah, so, the advancement of technology, because the reason why I'm bringing this up now, because just yesterday at work, I was in my department, and I was helping this guy from another company. He was taking some pictures for the FDA for some stuff, and anyway, so we started talking about technology, and I told him, yeah, it's crazy, like, because we're talking about pictures and stuff, because his pictures were coming out like super good on his phone, and we were just talking about it, and we're like, man, it's crazy how far it's come in 10 years, you know what I'm saying, and we're talking about how the good and bad, the good and bad as far as technology, the good way it affects us and the bad way it affects us. The good way, obviously, it helps us look up shit faster. It helps us advance. Like now he was talking about, like, now people can get the surgeries that they need to pretty much survive. Before they didn't have the surgery kits that we have now. Before they pretty much were just die, and now we have the surgery kits that they need that we can provide for them, the surgery they need to live. Like, what's that guy cancer shit for the nuts?
Prostate cancer?
Prostate cancer, there you go.
It's not from the nuts though, that's from your ass, I think.
Whatever, anyways, but the whole point is that we have the surgery kits for them to survive, right?
Yeah.
Now on the flip side, so I have the story, guys, check this out. So I used to work at this, and I say this all the time because it's so fucking retarded. Some people are. Sorry, guys. That's another word that we use, and I'm gonna fuck if you get offended, but I'm gonna use the word retarded, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way whatsoever. I just mean that somebody's really fucking slow and stupid.
Well, that's what the word retarded means, is slow. I mean.
Yeah, but that's a sensitive word that people are gonna be like, you shouldn't say that word, so fuck that.
We're gonna say what we're gonna say.
Jinx personal Jinx got me a fucking blunt. Yeah, anyways, so I'm at this place working, right? And I work at this factory where we make drawers, and and they're made out of wood, custom made. You remember that shit?
Yeah.
So anyways, So we fucking to clean the 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 residue sawdust that was still on there. We fucking use a bottle with Windex. So we got some brand new spray bottles, right? And this chick that used to work with me, so got the brand new spray bottles, and I guess one of the new ones was leaking. So check this out. So she calls me over from my fucking office. She goes, and I mean it's not that far. It was a small place, but she goes over to my office, gets me out, comes to get me, tells me one of the bottles is leaking. So I was like, cool, I need to get a refund, right? Because I'm the one that orders this shit. So I go to the fucking to the department, to the shipping department, and I get the bottle, and she's like, yeah, maybe I could have just tied it or tighten it tight enough. And I was like, all right. So I open it up and I close it as tight as I could. Where I mean, I didn't want to fuck it up either, right? But it was tight. I hand it right back to her, and she goes, okay, thank you. And this is, I swear she did this. Watch. Oh, did you see her bottle? So I tightened it, right, guys? Hand it to her, and so she takes it from me, and I swear she did this. And it fucking leaked. And she goes, it's still leaking. I fucking swear to God, I almost lost my shit. She tells me it's still leaking. What do I do? And I looked at her like, you stupid bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to just like tell her that, but I always say I have to be professional. I can't say shit like that to my employees. So I had to tell her and this is what I mean by it. She's she was young, and I think that was like one of her first jobs. Um, which don't get me wrong, she kicked ass at it. She was badass. She was one of the best people I've ever worked with. But just shit like that, where like technology has made her super like dumb, stupid. So I told her, don't tilt it. I literally had to tell her that. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah, I can see people doing that.
Your shit.
Thanks for the water.
I'm drinking your water.
Alright, so yeah, so technology, like you said, obviously can either help you or it can hinder you. It all really depends how you use it. I mean, I've had people ask me for directions having a fucking iPhone in their hand, which is like you can always push that side button. And I myself am guilty of this. I mean, the other day I was fucking scrolling through my phone book looking for a number when I could have just easily asked Siri to dial the number. And it's just it's things like that it's like you just don't really think about it. It's like, I mean, I'm old school. I used to go to the mall and pick up girls with a pen and a paper. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't, it was that's how you got numbers when I was in high school. And it's like nowadays, like shit, pen and a paper, like, what is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's technology's changed things, and it's a good topic we can get into next time.
I think that's a good way to end it there, and
I agree.
Pick it up next time.
All right. This was the first episode of Talking with Dipshit on the channel G.
So it's cool, Dipshit.
It's cool. First one. We're gonna sign out and be cool to each other. If you have disagreements with anybody, just remember, it's just a disagreement. There's no need to get to knuckles with it.
Cool.
You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever they said, I'm sure it's in the heat of the moment. Let some time go by. My dad always told us, you don't always have to fight. If you can talk about it first, do it. If you talk your way out of any situation, do it. Last resort should be violence.
Yeah.
Peace. Love. See you next time.